He's joining me right now. His name is Black. Welcome along.
Thank you for having me. How you doing?
All good. No, really excited to have you on the show and, get you in for an interview. I saw the show.
Okay.
Which was wicked.
Did you like it?
Yes, we loved it, man. It was really, really good. Me and my friend were just like the whole way through, like, this is really good. This is really, really good.
It felt really great. It felt really, really great.
Things have really started to really pick up steam and pick up traction. But for you, where did the whole Black project start?
Honestly, I feel like it started like years ago, maybe about 5 years ago, when I just kind of found myself in a deal that I wasn't really too happy in. And since then, it was just like a non-stop urge to record and a non-stop urge to have some kind of music or some kind of project. And I would record and I would think I was done or that I had a project, and then I would just like completely start over. And then it wasn't until August of last year where I went to LA and like I had a batch of music when I went out there, but once I got out there, I just started from scratch again and I had a project.
And even the branding and sort of, the name and the way it's written and sort of even the videos and the visual feel of it all feels really cohesive as a brand.
Yeah.
Is that all from you, or did that take a little bit of time to develop and tweak?
Oh no, and I think that's been the beautiful part of everything so far, is that we didn't have to really construct or calculate or make something. Like, it was just obviously like a part of the life that I was living at the moment. Like I've had black and white pictures since forever, so we didn't have to like find an aesthetic. Like I felt like color was something I would like graduate to eventually, and overall it was just about just showing who I was to people and staying consistent with that. And the project just spoke on freedom, and I think I did a pretty good job of expressing that.
Definitely. And it's kind of weird because I feel like, last May I saw Problems, building and bubbling and, saw your names across loads of different blogs, and then you had the project out and it felt like those that were in the know were in the know.
Yeah.
But something's happened in the last, I would say 3 months even, where the world is known about you. What's changed?
You know what? When I first went into the studio and started working on the project, I wrote the word relatable on the board. And for this project, that was my main goal. Make something that will like force people to react to it. Like whether you like it or you don't like it, say words that people can relate to. Say words that people can be like, well, you know what? I've been through that, so that's why I like this song. Or you know what? I feel that, so that's why I like him. Or I understand him. He's not, too mysterious, but he has like a different side. I just feel like we did a good job of showing who I was to people, and that just made everything multiply further and faster than we could have ever planned or, had a rollout for.
Definitely. Free Black is definitely like a sort of storybook into your world and who you are. It's very clear.
Yeah.
Problems. When I first checked it, it had when I started seeing the traction it building, it had over 3 million hits on SoundCloud. And that was last year, so no doubt it's gone even further than that. And what I found the most frustrating for me as a DJ was it was online, but you couldn't buy it nowhere. You couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Was that purposeful?
Initially, because we were playing a lot of things like just kind of by ear in the beginning. I think that was another part of like what made things move the way they moved. Like we released 2 songs. I think it was Bless Me and Problems. And then we just kind of tested the waters to see what would react first. And then obviously Problems just like took on legs of its own. And I kind of felt like Problems would do that because when I recorded it, it was a different thing from anything else I've ever done.
Jamz Supernova Tuesday night. I'm joined by Black. We just heard Problems, which we played last year and we supported really heavily. It's good to feel that the song, even when you perform it, it still feels new.
Yeah, no, it always feels new, and I'm lucky to be able to feel that.
I read online that someone had described your project, and you just touched on it earlier, as a testament of musical freedom.
Yeah.
And there's a skit on the project as well of you sort of, being really defiant in what you will make and what you won't make.
Yeah.
What happened?
The thing about that skit is it wasn't like a rehearsed thing. This was me with my phone on voice recorder, and I was actually in an argument with somebody from my old label, and something in me was just like, document this. Like you never know what you might need later or what you might just want to hear back later. So I just kind of hit record, and we kind of got into it. We were going back and forth, but I think more than musically, like my main thing was just making sure I felt free in all aspects of my life, not being tied down by relationships or not being tied down by making decisions based on, other people's feelings and emotions all the time, because I'm super like about everybody else. So I had to scale down for, this section of my life and just make sure that I tended to myself for once and that I didn't have to feel bad for doing it.
That's something that I picked up in the show, and even I had like a group of girls in front of me and a group of guys behind me and singing, and they could all relate to different parts of the lyrics, but it's the male vulnerability.
Yeah, no, it's definitely that, and I feel like, you know, with certain words and with touching on certain situations, I tried to make this, you know, as unisex as possible, so that, you know, like, you can hear it and you won't be like, this is music, you know, just for dudes, or this is music, you know, just for women. Like, everybody can sing the words, you can swap whatever words you want to swap for, you know, whatever you are, and it's just like, it fits regardless.
I'm always interested in people's process and how they write music. How is your process?
I haven't like written anything in maybe about at least 6 years.
Wow.
I was a battle rapper. I started off battle rapping, and I feel like me writing so much kind of took me to a place where it's like anything. If you do it enough, you don't have to do it the same way for too long. So I would write so much that by the time I was done writing a 16, I would know like 8 of it by heart. And then it got to the point where I would write a 16, and by the time I was done, I would know the 16 by heart. And it's kind of obvious that if you are reciting a verse, it sounds better when you're actually performing it instead of reading it. So I was just like, I'll test myself. Like, I used to hear about rappers like Lil Wayne and Jay say they never, you know, they don't write. And I was just like, I feel like I'm in a space where I can, you know, attempt to not write. And from then it was just like testing myself to you know, get my memory up and to get my performance skills better. And I just stopped writing. And ever since then, it's just been like, I go in the studio, I mumble around a little bit, I catch a melody or something that feels good, and then I just fill in the blanks.
The personal touch and the sort of vulnerability in your lyrics. It is kind of hard to believe that you are so unlucky in love listening to the project. It is. I'm like, really?
I mean, you got to take into account I do music, and with music comes a lot of confusion and stress and, you know, unstableness. And it's a lot to take in. And I think from an early age, I was just kind of like, whoever puts up with this is like, they're the MVP, because this is a lot. I don't really expect anybody to understand it fully. You know?
What's the most vulnerable song for you on the record? One that you really felt like you had to open up?
Problems was the most different song that I've done, because usually I don't really talk about love in a way where I kind of say, you know, like I swear and, you know, stuff like that. But this was the first time where I was angry. So I was just like, I have to get this out of my system, because I've never dealt with anyone crazy, and I prided myself on that. And now I'm in something crazy, so I have to speak on it. And I think MTFU was like one of the ones where I actually called the person that was like involved in like the whole storyline of that song, and was like, hey, I'm telling this story like word for word on my album, and I just want your blessing just to make sure, because I respect you. We had, you know, our fallout, but I'm saying some very descriptive things, and people are going to hear it. So she was like, cool. She respects the art.
MTFU on BBC Radio 1 Extra. It's Tuesday night. My name is Jamz. I'm sitting in front of me. I've got a very exciting new artist by the name of Black. Another thing I sort of felt, and definitely even hearing you talk about MTFU, was the storytelling.
Yeah.
Who did you grow up listening to?
I grew up listening to whoever my mom was listening to in a car. So that would be a lot of 90s R&B. It was SWV. It was Brandy. It was Usher. It was like so much of that stuff, like, cause that would just be her regular everyday, you know, car playlist. And then I kind of got a little bit older, and I would venture off into my own things, and I fell in love with Sade, and, you know, I fell in love with Erica, and then I got more into rap, and I fell in love with Outkast, and it was just like so many different things. I feel like I pull from so much, and I'm inspired by so much, that when I name stuff, I leave stuff out.
Is it hard to make it in Atlanta as an artist?
No, it's actually fairly easy, I would say. But it's not about making it, it's about remaining there. You know, that would be the only catch, is there's a new wave of people every year in Atlanta, and you have to be one of those people who knows that just to be in it for the long run, and not for, you know, to make some money or just to have a hit, or, you know, to be popular, or whatever the case may be. Like, it's easy to make it in Atlanta, but it's not easy to stay on.
And what do you think it was about, you know, this project in particular, and the producers that you worked with? What was it that sort of separated it from being like not your standard like R&B and hip hop project?
I think it was, I mean, being from Atlanta, I wanted to make sure that I infused a lot of the trap elements and a lot of the, you know, just like melodic things that you would hear from a song that was in a club, but you would listen to the words and be like, wait a minute, you know, he's actually talking about something, you know, and it's not just, you know, I'm drunk and I'm in a club and I'm having fun. It's just like, there's something going on in this song that I actually want to listen to when I'm not, you know, under the influence of something.
Who did you work with? Who was the producers?
Sin God is that's my main producer. That's my go-to. He hit me years ago and basically sent me an email and was like, you know, I don't know you and I don't want to produce for other people. Like, I want to produce for you. And the first day we met, we made a mixtape in a day. Like, he made a beat, I recorded a song. And, like, while I was recording, he made another beat. And when I was done, I recorded another song. And we just did that back to back until we had, like, a whole project. And other than Sing God, Nova, he produced Problems and Free and Business Boy and a whole gang of other people. I feel like I just invite people into, you know, the studio, and I keep my main producer there. And from there, we just kind of collab and just bring in different ideas. And whoever has something dope is, you know, they could earn a spot.
Do you feel like you're a natural performer, or is it something that you kind of have to dig deep for?
No, I definitely feel like I'm natural in a sense where, like, 9 times out of 10, if you see me on a daily basis, I'm reserved, I'm chill. But when I perform, it's like a switch that goes off. That's when I actually get to be who, you know, I am and be what I feel like and just kind of express myself in a way I probably don't normally do.
And what was the thing that sort of surprised you or overwhelmed you the most about performing your first ever sold out headline show in London?
I would just say the energy that I received was the energy that I prayed for. Before I even came here, the last couple of weeks, since like I took a break from the other shows and had like a little bit of time, all I was saying was I want to make sure that I perform better.
100%. You've had a busy start to the year, so obviously you've been touring, you've had a feature on the Finn album.
Yeah.
That was dope.
I love Sid so much. Like, I don't really do that many features, but as soon as she reached out, it was like I sent the verse back within a couple of days.
I think it's like an R&B dream, actually.
Yeah, I love Sid. Like, Sid is really, really, really dope. Ego Death was an amazing album.
No, really, really strong. And obviously you got the your record, your feature. I know you're on it, but your feature, Janae Aiko.
Oh yeah, that was...
It's another dream.
That was also fun. And Janae is like one of my favorite people ever. Like, we're kind of like the same people in regards to how we work and who we are. Like, so when we met, it was like an automatic click, and I was working on the song. She walked in the studio, she heard it, she finished it, and within a couple of hours we just had a song, and within a couple of weeks it was out.
First on BBC Radio 1 Extra, my guest tonight has been Black. So Free Black is out right now. People that are just catching on, definitely go back and listen to the project. But we're still very much in the early stages of 2017. What is next?
Staying consistent, staying productive. More than anything, I just want to keep making music, and you know, I don't want to get into a place where people are trying to figure out what I'm doing, where I am, if I'm mysterious and falling back or anything like that.
I want to get into one last record because I think the project is just so great, so I need to go back to it. Free Black, Getting Old, one of my Percy's.
Getting Old is a jam.
My fave. Would you like to introduce it tonight on One Extra?
Let's get it. Getting Old, one of my favorite songs, one of the most jammiest songs. Is that a word? Jammiest? One of the most jammiest songs that I've made, and probably the most different vibe on the project. So yeah, Getting Old.